what is your message? Like that man you were talking about earlier, that they're hurting.
Yeah.
I think you said, which is true. They're hurting. And that's like the guy from my speech the other night, like, I think he was hurting.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I was trying to be kind, but at the same time, I was like wanting to be firm with him because I feel like he's getting all this tough love from like the Andrew Tates of the world. I'm like, can I give you some gentle but tough love from a different perspective? But what do you think is the right thing to say?
Well, I would say foundationally, the Christian is at an advantage because I think something supernatural happens when the Spirit of God comes and lives at us.
Amen.
Philippians says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God that does the work in you to follow him, keep his decrees, right? So it's this beautiful picture of like, we're responsible, but we have the Spirit of God that's working out these things. Ezekiel talks about, I will take away your heart of stone, give you a heart of flesh, right? Jeremiah talks about, I'll give you the desires to keep my precepts and my laws. So I think foundationally, like, place your faith in Jesus, go examine the resurrection. It happened. That is a historical event. And I think the faith in Jesus, I think there becomes a heart change. Something changes. And it's hard to, but like no one told me porn was wrong when I got saved. I just knew. No one told me sexual immorality was wrong. I just knew. No one told me abortion was wrong. I just knew. No one told me these things. I just,
it's written in the heart.
Yeah, it's written in the heart. So the laws in our heart. So I'd say foundationally, place your faith in Jesus, because I think therein lies the will, desire, change. And then I would say, get around people that are different than you, that are maybe a season of life than you. And I say for most men, I think they need to develop and become the priest, the provider, and protector of their home, right? So a priest, provider, protector, if we're looking at David was a warrior and a worshiper, right? So it's not this, I just need to be this. It's all the above. Be competent, be strong, lift, go work out, go fire guns if you want to learn how to do that. Like all of that is great. Develop useful skills, be able to earn, be able to provide for your family. This is statistics, and some people get really triggered when I talk about this, but Gallup did a study and they surveyed working moms with kids under 18. And they found out that working moms with kids under 18, that 56% of them would have preferred to stay home and raise their kids had they been given an option to. 56%.
At least, by the way.
So,
because
if we scale that number down to kids of 10 and under, 5 and under, right? And that's a lot of women that are like, who are going to have kids that are like, yeah, I'd rather just be a mom for a couple years. I want to just kind of hang with my babies. So if we know that these are not conservative women, these are not pro-life women, these are not Christian women, right? These are just women. Be the type of man that has a useful skill set that can provide for your wife so that she can stay home with the kids if she chooses to do so. And guess what? Most women will probably choose to do so if they have the opportunity to.
I'll stick in a caveat there, because this is my experience and a lot of my friends' experience, is that, not having to work, but getting to do some work as a way to contribute, use your skills, your talents, but not having the burden of the 8 to 5 or the 8 to 6 and making sure that you're the breadwinner. And I think that's a tremendous difference where you can have that flourishing home life where you still maybe doing that side hustle or that job, but it's not like you are worried about we're not going to make ends meet tomorrow. Like that is a privilege for a woman and a family to be in. Unfortunately, it's a privilege today because of the way the economy is and most families needing double incomes. But I think that's a beautiful thing, is like find a way to be the primary breadwinner so that she's not, when she's pulling back on her hours or taking time off or, turning it down or quitting that full-time position, she's not worried about, are we going to have food on the table or a place to live?
And my wife was the one who, because of some of these things you just described, she was able, as a stay-at-home mom, to have, when my son was 6, to have the vision and tell me, hey, I think you should quit your job and pursue this entrepreneurial thing. Because of the stability that you talked about, we had 6 months of living expenses. I knew worst case scenario, I can go drive for Uber or Lyft, and we're just going to go for this thing. And this financially was the best thing we've ever done. So I think what you just described is what a lot of people are wrestling with, and they don't know how to figure that out. And I think to this day, I mean, my wife, she does this amazing kids choir production thing every Wednesday night where these kids do these like plays in church. She gets to volunteer and do that. She works a couple hours a week remotely as a designer, graphic designer. That was her full-time job before. So she still has a ton of autonomy and she can still do stuff. And then she also keeps track of all of our payroll and all of our books and all works with our
your
accounting.
manager.
She really keeps things operations going in terms of the accounting side. And so I think knowing that women want some autonomy, but also knowing that they probably are going to want to stay home with the kids.
They want flexibility.
And they want time.
They want their time back.
Yeah, and so
they can be with their kids more.
Yeah, and
their
so
young kids.
with that, if you know this is how most women, and I'm using generalities, are, and it's not, of course there's caveats, of course there's women that are like, I want to get back to my thing, right? Cool. So become a provider, become someone that has a scarce skill set that is valued in the marketplace, something either around tech, around storytelling, around sales, or true collar jobs. I know plumbers making multiple six figures, running plumbing businesses, right? There's a lot of things out there. It's just hard. It's hard. Most people don't want to do it. And then the last part I would say is be the priest. If someone that's the priest of their home, he's going to be tender. He's going to know to when to be stoic and when to be vulnerable. He's going to know, he's going to go process his junk and his trauma from his childhood like I had to, and go sit down with a Christian therapist and work through all these issues. So priest, provider, protector, I think that would be my prescription. And basically what a lot of what we talk about is, listen, if you want this life, like as a man, you're gonna have to figure out how to go from the bottom 80% to the top 20%.